Welcome to another episode of More Than Dice. I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
And Nerd can't hear
I'm Nerd. I was muted, sorry.
her. It's all right. Welcome to episode 276. We're going to be talking about, we're going to be some hobbying and Hodge Podging. We're also going to be talking about some 3D terrain, not only, for yourself, how to get it, what to do, blah, 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 because 3D terrain is very, very important to your gaming sanity, and also we'll be talking about it on a personal level, also a TO level, aka me, because I've been trying to get as much as possible, and just trying to make sure all the cool stuff is happening. But before we do that, we got to get to the business. We want to thank Muse on Minis for hosting our channel and getting everything out there. We appreciate them very much. We want to thank Parabellum Wargames, makers of Conquest. They are doing some really cool stuff, and you can get 10% off all your stuff. We want to thank Turbo Dork for the makers of color turbo shifting paint and good metallics. Make sure you check them out. And also the good silicone dry palettes.
Yeah, great.
They're amazing. I want to thank Midnight Heroes for their chibi games and chibi miniatures. I'll be showing off one of them as special edition one, only available at Warfare Weekend. And we want to thank Creature Casters, makers of really cool models, and also Judgment and their tribe of Creature Caster that provides you with 10 miniatures and a 5th edition module if you subscribe to their tribe, which would be pretty cool. Last one was pretty neat. So that was that. Dude, that went by really quick.
Yeah, you powered through that.
I got that
I'm
one.
proud of you, Gonzo.
So let's talk about some stuff that's going on right now. We do have some shout outs and everything to go through. What was the one? I did talk about one. Where was it? Shauna Trebekic. People don't know.
The costume director.
Costume director and created costumes for Firefly, Ahsoka,
Ton of stuff. Yeah,
Mandalorian.
A lot of stuff that's near and dear to our heart.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't know the person, but that's somebody that definitely did something.
I don't know the details. I don't know if details are released. They weren't available when I saw it. It's just she was relatively young, and it is very tragic.
Yeah. But yeah, there was just made a lot of costumes. We want to say another shout out to all the crap that is happening in Israel right now. Fuck those people, and hopefully people get out of there safe. That's pretty tragic what's going on right now, and pissed off about that.
Yeah. In the sports arena, Dick Butkus passed. He was a famous linebacker for the Chicago Bears for a very long time. Couple small movie roles, nothing major. He was in the very short-lived Blue Thunder TV show.
Oh, I remember that.
So
I know nothing about that one.
it's probably the best.
Blue Thunder, let's stealth mode helicopter.
So
No.
like
How can
Blue
you
Thunder
stealth mode a helicopter?
So Blue Thunder is a very good political thriller. The movie is a very good political thriller. Roy Scheider does a great job. I enjoy it. It's not what you expect from an action movie. It is very much political thriller. And then the whole concept is, hey, here's this cool helicopter, but the police shouldn't have shit like this. Then the TV show is, but wouldn't it be cool if the police had shit like this? It's, it was a good movie that they turned into the entirely wrong kind of TV show. And wasn't going to beat Airwolf anyways. Come on, fucking MTV. Airwolf wins that fight every day. Ernest Borgnine, for Christ's sakes.
I remember that, and they were like, this helicopter is going to do a loop.
Don't disrespect the movie. The movie is very good.
No, yeah, I'm just saying, looking back on it now, you're like, we accepted so much crap then, but it was still good.
That did you just watch Fast 10 last week?
Oh, I didn't accept Fast 10. I don't accept that movie.
Like, literally Hey, physics, comparatively, they're like, yeah, that's fine.
What
Let's
movie
go.
is this?
Blue Thunder. The one of the things is the helicopter does a loop in it towards the end.
Oh, gotcha.
It's a good movie if you want to watch a political thriller. Watch it. It does have some action for those who like that as well.
Okay.
But I feel like I heard something. But anyways, next. Sorry, we're Dick Butkus. Rest in peace, sir.
I think that was about it. Yeah, I don't think there's anybody else. John, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, I may have bought a couple bottles of Dr. McGillicuddy's apple pie liquor. I'll be drinking that. Yes,
Is
straight.
that time of year?
It's always that time of year. Like, I buy this all the time, except there's only one place around that does it, so I have to go out of my way to get it. So,
Gotcha.
Nerd, what are you drinking? Actually, I think I know what you're drinking, but tell everyone what you're drinking.
I am drinking Wilson's Orchard apple cider donut hard cider. This is from a local orchard, and it's delicious.
Does it taste like apple donut?
It's got cinnamon and nutmeg in there. Yep.
I finished my first drink in the pre-ramble. It was orange juice. And so
Wait, straight
orange
Better
juice.
slow down, son.
I know.
Slow down, drinking orange juice straight.
Drinking orange juice straight.
What's that gonna do to your guts?
And so the rest of the night is going to be just good old H2O. I'm trying to make sure I get rid of all of this. I still got some allergy stuff going on, so just being safe, trying to get all this gunk out of me.
Drink emergency than orange juice. I mean, I love orange juice.
Yeah.
But emergency would be better from a health standpoint.
Yeah, I just don't have any emergency. So I decided to just grab a little small glass of OJ.
Bones S'mores coffee. I love s'mores. I hate coffee, so I have to say probably a negative from John, but it sounds intriguing.
I could try
I'd
that.
fucking try it. Who am I
delicious.
lying? I'd try it.
S'mores coffee, yes, please.
I
Yep.
like s'mores. Banyan, get on that. S'mores would be great. Spoiler, that's not going to happen.
Guys, as usual, make sure if you see something, you say something. If you can do something, do something. If you hear something, say something too, because this shit ain't right. Look after each other. Make sure you check up on each other too. People won't say when they need help most of the time. Sometimes you just have to peek in there and go, hey, you doing okay?
I was going to the mall to get my lunch. I saw a woman just randomly wandering around the parking lot. It took me how long to go, hey, ma'am, are you okay? And her telling me she lost her truck. So I'm like, well, took a quick look, then sent her to the security office so they could help her further.
Yeah.
It takes almost no time to help people.
Nope. And it's always worth it.
Always.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, that's good.
Fuck yeah, this HTO is awesome.
Keep telling yourself, you'll believe it eventually.
Oh, fuck yeah, I will eventually. No, I've been trying to... I got... Most of my allergy stuff is gone, but working in a dusty warehouse has been not good on the allergies type stuff.
Yeah, well, health first. Health first.
Always.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and get this started over here. I'm going to get my camera ready. I'm going to show you some models first before we do some awesome painting.
Talk about terrain since, we've got some stuff. Actually, I can say that.
So I 3D printed. This is the chibi. I'll put this in focus. That is, it's not, you really can't see it because of course it's not primed yet, so it's hard to see for anybody to know that. This is the chibi miniature that's being sold at Warfare Weekend based on our winner of last year's House Wars. Avira. She is a pirate. And so, this is what the size is going to be. It's going to come on our 40 millimeter base, and it is usable in the game. But you know me, I had to print a big version of it. So I supersized one, and we'll put it on a base and 3D print that. Or I'm 3D printing, the base is 3D printed, I just haven't cleaned it off and done it. But So they'll be there. And that's what they're. I did get Privateer Press did character jacks, and instead of giving you that you had to go buy a whole jack, you just buy the bits and pieces and such. So you buy the head and arms, and you're good to go. Since everything's magnetized on the jacks now, like $12 instead of having to buy a whole new jack.
Dude, I saw that airship, that mercenary airship.
Oh yeah,
that looks really cool. I mean, I'm not gonna even play the game, but
yeah,
it looks really cool.
I did order one of those. I ordered the bomber because I will probably be using the bomber in one of my lists. But yeah, the dirigible type thing is legit cool looking.
Yeah, it's very cool.
It's got some good rules too. It's it's worthwhile. So other than that, I'm gonna go and get started on getting some paint out. John, let's go and get started on 3D terrain. Why 3D terrain for the first part?
Because we've been through 2D terrain, and if you're playing 2D terrain, just play a fucking board game instead. Example, Battletech traditionally is played just on hex maps that have no terrain, but because it is ostensibly a board game, not a miniatures game. That's normal Battletech, not Alpha Strike. Alpha Strike is actually made inherently as a miniatures game. But if you're going to take the time to paint your cool models, shouldn't they be on cool fields?
Yeah.
Look cooler? And I don't have a problem with, we make fun of old school War Machine tournaments. Yeah. But then again, they brought it on themselves initially. You remember the old days, Gonzo, when people would come with models that ain't even fucking glued to the base fully.
Oh, yeah.
Half assembled. And these are the top tier players. It was fucking tragic.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. It was pretty dramatic at one point. We were like, really?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, guys.
This is pre-streaming.
Yeah.
When streaming came about, they started putting the rule it have to be painted, which is fair. You're playing at the top level, I don't mind that as a rule.
Makes sense.
But they still went 2D terrain because I'll make a joke out of it. Hashtag game state.
Yeah.
Conso knows what I'm talking about. You can be much more particular about the game. You don't have to worry about knocking something stopping you from measuring perfectly because it's all flat. But it's also, again, at that point, shouldn't you just be playing a board game? If the game is so important that it has to be down to the exact millimeter, 16th of an inch, we're in America, goddammit, then maybe you should rethink what you're doing. Maybe you should be playing chess.
Yeah.
Because it can never be that. It's supposed to be the comedy of everything. And if you're going to make people paint miniatures, you need to next level that shit. And honestly, all the big tournaments, that they all have 3D terrain. But little tournaments, and I understand it to a point. There was a point where I could put a War Machine army in a single GW figure case in my backpack with a bunch of 2D terrain. And for that, it's super fine. It's great. If you go to someone's house, some people said, we broke out our models in the airport and played in the airport waiting for a flight. That's great.
Oh, yeah. I've seen people do that.
When you get to that next level in a store, you need to start bringing it up. And what I loved about it, I actually loved the combination of 2D and 3D. Here's the Forest template, like they've done for years. Put trees on it. But now it's not just, plain flocked green, template. It's now just a cool 3D printed printed neoprene, mouse pad material. You throw it down and it's got trees on it. Everything looks cool. And you put trees on it extra. We did a lot where we had houses about the same size as the house thing. So you can pull the house off, you need to measure. That's the best way, but people would skip that. Xander Voigt's right. 2D was cheaper and easier, but no wow factor. And a lot of the stores realized you need a wow factor. So luckily it's turned back around. And I truly believe if you're not using 3D terrain, you should really just be playing a board game.
Yeah, and I know we're saying how old we are when we talk about, we had to make our own 3D terrain, and we were like, cool.
But we did.
We did, and the thing is,
Styrofoam was the fucking promised land. Oh, you got a TV?
yes.
I want the fucking styrofoam from your TV, son. I'm gonna make some shit out of that.
Yeah, I remember so many times we were like, oh, I'm opening a new box. Oh, I could use this for a building. Oh, I could use this. I could use that.
Yes.
And we did. There was nothing wrong with it because we made 3D terrain with it.
Yeah. And it made, like, even though it was kind of low rent, kind of cheap, it was still cool. It was still cooler than not having it. So I'm glad that it's turned around and 3D terrain is everywhere now, and they're making cool stuff. I mean, to be fair, a lot of the companies were always making terrain. Even Project Press originally had some terrain features that were very cool.
Oh, yeah.
Good centerpieces for boards. The old Signar Storm fucking Surge Tower, whatever the fuck it was called. I'm going to call it that regardless of what it was actually called. But they had a bunch of those things. They're very cool centerpieces for terrain, for boards. And I like that it's coming back around. You know, it's not hard to get 3D trees.
No, and the thing is
O-Scale, I think it is.
Yeah, and there's plenty of easy to buy already stuff out there that you can get off of Amazon or your local, hobby store or whatever.
Yeah, well, Amazon nowadays, oh my god. Like, so, let's be honest. Back in our day, we were playing without the 3D printed terrain because 3D printers weren't actually feasible. And that's not even that long ago, honestly.
No.
We're talking a decade ago, not even. We're about that far.
I was gonna say, even D&D's got 3D terrain now that's coming out more and more.
It does.
Like I'm seeing modular tiles and stuff like that from places like Modular Realms, Dungeons and Lasers.
You ever see the old Dwarven Forge stuff? That's like the OG.
Oh yeah.
That stuff.
If I go to Dwarven Forge.
I mean, I have one set that my buddy Frank gave me because his wife got it for him, and he's like, I'm never going to use it, John. I've used it like once or twice because it's just not really feasible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's the dream, is to be Dimension 20 or, whatever, with the fucking 3D maps for fucking everything that they just do such a good job on. Holy crap, I want to give them money because they do a great job.
Yeah.
But, on the miniatures table, you if you're playing a game that doesn't use hexes or tiles or something like that as a thing, you should definitely be trying to use 3D terrain. If you are using hexes and tiles, you could still try. Like, even, hold on to read it from here.
I'm trying to figure out how to eventually go to 3D maps for D&D.
One D&D is working on that.
I think it's a dream.
Yeah.
It's a good dream, but I think
I have mixed feelings about WotC.
That is absolutely fair, and that's probably good for another episode. We should probably put that on the future plate. We can talk about WotC a lot.
Sure, we can.
Yeah, Warhammer Underworld's even it is ostensibly a board game with miniatures, but even they made 3D terrain for that. You could buy a pack. Here's the Arcane Ruins. So you just replace them on your board with that. It's super cool. Even that little touch takes a game up a notch. I have played BattleTech back in the day, and on a map was fine, but then the one time we got freaking, we had, as a club back in a very long time ago, we'd gotten like GeoHex or whatever hexes for a game they ran at a convention that was like Team Yankee-ish, World War III type of thing, modern weapons, and we used it for BattleTech after they were done because they stored it at the club, and it was great. Like, it wasn't even like super high quality by today's standards. You're like, yeah, that's cool, but you're like, we can do so much better nowadays. But it definitely brings a game up. It's that next level.
Yeah.
Like, even the D&D, the one or two times I've used the Dwarven Forge for the dungeon, it's looked great. It's like, this is really cool. Get an extra level of immersion.
Yeah, like that's one of the things. Like I ran my first in-person D&D encounter, and we had 2D maps, and like I wanted to have a little bit more depth to it, literally. And we made do with what we had, but it would have been really cool had I been able to put like physical terrain on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. And even though like what we put on the board, so I'm looking. Xavier had mentioned a couple different things, and one of them is sort of up your alley, what you're talking about. So I'll bring it in now. Looks like Gale Force 9 is selling what's called Tenfold Dungeon, which is basically 3D terrain. It's all cardboard. It looks like each set is not terribly expensive. It includes a 5e scenario. It's like this is the castle, and it's more of like a dungeon rather than an actual castle based on the floor plan. But it's cool. But it all looks like simple 3D cardboard terrain. $65 is not a bad price for something like that.
No.
Um, and then for what I don't think it has applications in miniature gaming though, because it is rooms. You'd have to have a skirmish level game that did that. I think it'd be great for that. Not really
If I
good
was running
for.
PvP matches like I do sometimes, that would make sense.
Actually, honestly, it's cheap enough that you did a PvP at like a con or something. You do what the one guy did, and you get two sets. Put the guys behind a big screen so they can't see what the others are doing unless they can see it. That's some next level. It'd be cool. Yeah, you're right, Michael. The Gale Force is double sided because when you look at it, it looks like it's all whatever, but then you could flip it over and it becomes terrain for like a war game more. They don't show that as much on the website because it's what I'm limited to right now. But I do see that they can be flipped over and become like buildings and stuff. So it does have more use, and that is what you want from your terrain. Multiple use is better.
Yeah.
Their stuff looks pretty good, priced pretty good. Storage wise, Art Michael Lloyd, that should be easy peasy. Let me tell you what your best friend is for storage of terrain in most cases: empty paper boxes. You can usually get
Oh,
them from an
yeah.
office, like your office maybe. Like I have tons around there. My favorite storage boxes
Yeah, or
because
document storage boxes also.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. If you want, and honestly, if you go to your local Home Depot or whatever, they'll have similar sized plastic boxes that are Tupperwareized, like chunk, that like close literally and seal as soon as we're out water or anything. Those are great, little pricey, but if you're doing it once in a while, if you need like one or two for transferring stuff out of your house, it's great. Yeah, the Gale Force 9 stuff is roughly a board game box. Yeah, it looks like it would fit together fine. The other one he was talking about was what is this called? Acid House Terrain, which is very similar but much more miniature gamey, still printed cardboard, and looks like a solid amount. What I say for a, I love that the trees are also cardboard printed. Let me put that out that they're actually cardboard trees, two little stands. That's cool. And that stuff, even if you don't break it down, that stuff fit in a fucking paper box. And a paper box is easy to carry with stuff in it. I use it for kind of my Titans or my knights moving around. It's great. This stuff I'd have to actually translate, but it's a little more expensive since I'm pretty sure the euro is pretty close to a dollar, and 198 euros is a significant amount. They offer gridded, no gridded. Those are both cool. I suggest not gridded because some games don't have pre-measure, and you don't want to give any advantages. But it's super cool stuff, and like the cardboard terrain, even hold on, Weird Miniatures made some from Malifaux years ago. It's still confined here or there. They stopped doing a lot of it. It's really good because it breaks down really quickly, stores easily. It's a great choice. And it looks good. This stuff looks really good. I mean, pricey, but it is definitely next level compared to the GF9 stuff. And again, I'm not dissing the GF9 stuff. The Tenfold Dungeon looks good, dungeon quality stuff, solid secondary use for miniature games, and cost effective. But sometimes you want the next level, right, Gonzo? You want like
3D printed.
actual terrain, 3D printed, or I mean, to be on Gale Force 9, some on their website, they have their whole Battlefield the box set that they've been putting out for years.
Oh yeah.
And it's all fully
Battlefield the box.
Battlefield in the box. It basically is, in this case, it's a Badlands Plateau. Then you buy a Badlands Bluff, Badlands Tours, and Badlands Sandstone. And you get a bunch of stuff that fits together. Makes a good table on that thing. It's solid. It's hard to break. I know people at the local game store fucking tried. Does not break easily, but they have a ton of it. It's reasonably priced considering it's fully like 3D resin/plastic and fully painted. It looks great.
Nice. Nice.
Again, it is that next price point. I use a lot of it for Star Wars Legion. We played it because they made basically what amounts to being Tatooine style buildings. So they didn't call it that, obviously, for
Copyright reasons.
Licensing.
yes,
Yeah.
licensing reasons. They make Flames of War stuff that's at that scale. It's really can be a little pricey, and a lot of the other options can. Like Infinity has a whole bunch of companies doing Infinity Terrain. It can be a little pricey, but you build it up little by little.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. And a lot of it breaks down so that you can carry it. If not, I mean, traveling becomes a problem with it. But to be fair, most of the time we don't need to travel with all of the fucking terrain for a game. You know? If you're going to somebody's house, they'll usually have some themselves. So you guys sort of team up on that. Or you get like the flat stuff that folds flat. There's a bunch of stuff there. There's who does that Plastistruct kind of stuff, Gonzo? Been doing it for years. Like printed, colorful, Plastistruct type of stuff that goes together. I forget who does that. But that stuff looks good too. Malifaux, they've used a bunch for Malifaux down at one of the stores. It's solid stuff.
Okay.
There's a lot of options there. Holy moly. Also, the one I missed. Go ahead, Gonzo.
I was going to say, one of the things I thought was really cool, and this is whenever you bought like an Infinity Box set, they gave you 3D terrain that you use the box the miniatures came in, and you had this little, wraparound thing that went into it, and it was like, hey, here's you a building.
Kinda.
Yeah.
So what it was is they made sets that were cardboard, but you gave it extra structure. You could fold up, use it as is, but they were sized so that the actual boxes, the cardboard boxes, the Infinity models came in, could go inside them, so they gave you more holes. They become more solid, and they transported really well. Also, fucking Games Workshop did with a couple of their boxes, where some of the actual boxes the models came in would, like, you'd flip them over and they could be like terrain. Not great terrain, but terrain's terrain at a certain point. That's another good one. GW, I don't know if they're still doing it for Age of Sigmar because I'm a little out of the loop, but for a while, every force for Age of Sigmar had a terrain piece that you could have for free that would give you bonuses, which is a cunning idea, because now people want to bring their terrain because it gives them bonuses. Now you have more terrain on the table inherently, which eases the load on the game stores a little bit. Or if you guys are playing yourselves, it eases your load a little bit because you're already buying it for the bonuses, and now you get, some terrain to sit out there as well. There's a lot of options out there, honestly, for 3D terrain. Since Battletech's sort of like the big growing property right now, there's even GF9's putting out Hex Tech for Battletech and Battletech scale buildings, because the hardest part about a game, and the reason I think that certain games change from super large scale back down to a more normal scale, is the ease of finding terrain. For anyone out there, whoever would want to make your own miniatures game, make it at a scale that's either already in use or that matches a train set of scale.
Yeah.
Because you match train scale, oh my god, suddenly there's everywhere. You've got everything. Since my other hobby, aside from miniatures games, is action figures, I can tell you that having 6-inch action figures, it's hard to find things for them. But there's enough out there because, there's a bunch. It's when you get to the 7-inch ones, because, some people want to be different. We make 7-inch action figures. They become a problem because they're just a little bit bigger. Things look a little worse. It's like putting Marvel Crisis Protocol models on GW trains. Sometimes they just don't look right because they're a little bit bigger scale. But there's a game, and we tout them a bit, I do at least, that they knew what they were doing, because terrain comes in their box set, and it's not enough to play with a full game by itself, but it's about half. If you've got a box set and your buddy's got a box set and you both play, that's enough terrain for a board, more or less. And then 3D printing, as I mentioned, like for so many scales, there's so much 3D printed out there, and they offer it in every scale because they just got to change the scale they're printing at.
Yeah, you can do that at your scale yourself.
If you're doing that, I mean, not all of us can afford 3D printers.
I will
Yeah.
tell you right now, 3D printers are so affordable right now. Don't get me wrong; they are. You still got to pay for them, but the cost to have them now, especially if you're doing terrain, resin printers are a little bit different. But if you're doing just FDM printers for terrain, they are very affordable, very user friendly now, and you can print out tables in no time flat. And there's really no excuse
I mean, I
not to.
challenge if you get one printer, it's not really no time flat.
Well, it depends on the size of the printer.
It's a reasonable size, reasonable amount of time. I'm
Yeah.
not going to challenge that, but let's not call it no time flat because
I mean, especially once you learn and how you've got it and how it works and, how to set up files and such, man, you're just like, let's crank out terrain. Oh, you want a forest terrain? Here you go. Oh, you want a frozen terrain? Here you go. You want cityscape? Yeah, here you go.
Yep, and the files, sometimes you purchase the SDLs from people.
Yep.
Sometimes they're free, more often you purchase them. But scale to whatever site, like, oh, hey, I need this terrain piece, but I want it for 40K, and then I want it for Marvel. Let's say you're crazy like that. You can print it at the slightly higher scale for Marvel. There's a lot of good use there. If you've got the space and the ability, a 3D printer is not a bad choice. He's going
I'll be right back.
to go get something. If I can jabber more. Um, Back to what Irv was talking about with D&D, what I miss the most about D&D, and it's not actually 3D, it's 2D, but they had the dungeon tiles for years and years and years. Maybe a little before you were getting into it, but like for all of 4th edition, they had the dungeon tiles, and I have a box of those things. Those things are great for D&D. Because sometimes just having the colored pieces that go together, you can make cool stuff. Like I used to make my encounters, and I would just grab all the tiles, put them in a bag together. So I had them like, okay, cool. Here's what we got for this encounter, and you just put them on as you explore more places. It was very cool.
I only have a little bit of 3D terrain, and most of it was gifted to me. I have an elven library that was sent to me by a community member, and
Awesome.
yeah,
Well, who did that? Hold on. Was it WizKids? No. I think Pathfinder, is either Pathfinder or WizKids did some actual sets of terrain. They did a goblin village.
okay.
They also did a cemetery. I have 2 sets of the cemetery, and it is great. We use that for Malifaux all the time. It is plenty of terrain. But yeah, it's Pathfinder did it. Pathfinder Goblin Village. It's really expensive now because it's out of print. But it's the kind of thing I wish they'd do more of because it was just great. It was painted well, just 2 of those together, and at retail, I think that ends up being like $100 or so. You just get a ton of terrain that you can make a fight for, or if you're playing like Malifaux or some other skirmish game, that's a full fucking terrain bit.
Yeah.
But
I've been messing with the Dungeons and Lasers fantasy starter kit, which comes with a bunch of like bits and stuff to put in the dungeon as well as the tiles for the dungeon itself.
Oh yeah.
And it's like $50 and it comes with everything there. The one thing I will say is because everything comes on sprue, the torches and stuff, the way that they are, if you don't take them off the sprue before you paint them.
That is a
they are tiny, and I'm going to
yeah.
need to put pins in every single one of them.
So you can actually paint them beforehand and then go back and just paint the parts on the sprue. So my buddy Dave Value, local guy, actually paints everything on the sprue, and then he cuts it off and he cleans it, and then he just repaints the bit. You wear gloves or just seal it beforehand. Outside of that, you can go back and paint the bits you missed and just do it. is quite honestly probably easier unless you're going to magnetize them to fit somewhere. If you're going to magnetize them, then the magnetizing should help, but I will let you know that painting something that's magnetized is not as easy as it thinks because it's not as stable as you want.
Yeah.
I've done that a couple times. I still have Cable's shield that I haven't finished to put on his base. I magnetized it so it wouldn't break.
Gotcha.
It's a little bit of a problem, but you can get by it. But no, I like the way it looks. It's modular.
Yeah, and they've got a ton of sets, and they just announced more sets that are coming out. They just had a Kickstarter that stuff,
Well,
and they're
and like a lot of things, it's
and
sure
it's a
it's like
good
$50 a well, like $70, 60, $70 a room, but those are really cool looking rooms, and you can build it slowly because
yeah,
you're going to reuse it.
and they've got half height and full height walls depending on what you wanted, how you want to run things.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think half height walls are better just because storage space, because you mentioned storage space earlier.
Yep, they've got
Um,
modular lava and rivers.
and let me say, since Armark was asking about this earlier, storage wise, anything like that you get, just make sure you seal it well. If you
Yeah,
seal it well, you can put it on top of each other. Just you're not going to shake the box around. It might get shaken a little bit. It's not going to chip all the way.
yeah,
You know, just make sure it's sealed. Most of the stuff you buy is sealed. Like I'm sure the Dwarven Forge stuff actually comes in styrofoam, so it's good. But
yeah.
the GF9 stuff, I've not had a problem with it shipping. It fits together well. Um, just put in a box. If you're a little worried, go to the dollar store, get some towels. Like I know just get some just actual towels, like freaking actual towels. It's $1. You just put it in there and it'll freaking help take some of the impact. Use paper towels if you need to.
Newspaper.
Newspaper. Paper towels are pretty cheap nowadays. Just buy super bulk. You're like, oh, you need a 12 pack. No, buy a 24 pack. Even cheaper. You can use some for stuff. You can wrap little pieces and they'll be in between the pieces. Just put a couple around. You don't need to go all crazy style. You can go sort of what I like to call old school style because that's how we used to do it in the old days. Paper towels and stuff. We didn't always have figure cases and all. Let me see if I
That's
can
the way to
find
do it.
Yes. Let's see. This is on my mind again. I kind of regret not buying that Pathfinder Goblin Village when it originally came out. Because yeah, now it's going for quite a bit of money now. It's like $100 now. It was $50 when it came out. Newspapers do still exist, Starter Mark Levoy. They're good for wrapping fishes and terrain. But yeah, I mean, and here's a weird thing. It's gonna sound really crazy. Go on freaking Amazon and look for just terrain in whatever scale you need. You would be absolutely shocked by what is actually there. Like I have found literally, like even just looking for this Pathfinder Goblin Village, one of the things that shows up is Tower Rex Village D&D terrain. Sure, it's like $110, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 buildings, and then a wagon and another cart and fucking walls. That's a solid value. It looks like it's MDF. It's laser cut MDF. You could paint it if you want. Like, it's not like that's expensive, and you'll find 3D printed stuff between Etsy. Everyone goes to Etsy first. Etsy's good. But even on Amazon, you'll find people selling on Amazon. I got a whole set that's basically another set of Marvel terrain off Amazon. It's not quite the same, but that's better. The buildings are a little different. They're the same basic style, but they're different stuff. And granted, sometimes it's 3D printed. It's going to have a little bit of other issues to it because 3D printing's not perfect.
Yeah.
But you can fix that with priming. Hell, I bought, before they came out with it for Marvel, I bought a Sanctum Sanctorum off of Etsy, and it came with instructions on how you should prime it so that it gets rid of a lot of the texture that you don't want. Because you have other lines from printing. Like they said, hey, use this primer. It'll help get rid of that, and you can go.
That's good to know.
Talk to your buddies who are in this stuff. Talk to me. I mean, I've had
Talk to
random
me.
people message me on Twitter going, "Hey, John, you're into miniature stuff. I have this question. I may not be able to answer the question. Often I can't, but I know someone who can. And I will go find that information. Like, I do customer service for a job, which may shock some of you sometimes based on my salty language and rants. But
What?
yeah, I know. But that means that when you ask me a question, I want to find the fucking answer. Like earlier, stopping in the parking lot to help the woman find her car or at least talk to security so she can find what's going on. This is just what you do, you know? Helping people is fun. You know, you can find stuff. Like I brought my stuff the terrain I got, the extra marble terrain from some 3D printer over to Buddy Marshall, and I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? What would you do to get rid of this? He's like, oh, you could sand this part. You're not gonna notice on this part. Prime it with the primer, like we said. Then like on windshields, he's like, just use fucking matte varnish to fill in. You just run it over, it makes it smooth. You could paint the window. I'm like, holy shit, look at that great idea. Save me a bunch of sanding, just sand on big flat parts. There are plenty of people out there. Find those communities online. They're super helpful. Just make sure you block those fuckers who are annoying because they're never going to be helpful. Like seriously, those guys, you know those
Yeah.
guys. Anyone on social media knows those guys. Just block that fucker and move on. If you don't even mean to that person, you're like, yeah, I just don't agree with you. I want you to shut up. Just mute them instead. But generally, I block them and move on because fuck them. It hurts them to be blocked. It makes they don't get as much in people seeing their shit. I'm helping everyone else by blocking that bitch ass. But no, ask people. They will love to help. Love to help. Because some of them have these tricks and they have no one they can share with. You know, there's so many miniature gamers out there who are quote unquote alone. You know, COVID fucking put a bullet in a lot of communities. It's tragic. So those guys can only communicate online. You fucking ask a question, they got the answer. They will go. They're like, oh my man, I have got answers for you. Let me help you. They love that.
Yeah.
On a whole, remember that our hobbies are very inclusive and people want to help each other. There are no secret tricks. They just want to teach the tricks. Because that's how they get their endorphin rush. I taught this person a trick of how they can paint better. That makes me feel great. Remember that. But yeah, check everywhere. Don't just Google search, Etsy, eBay, Amazon. Just go. And watch out for those fucking moths. Those things are crazy.
You getting attacked again?
If she can karate chop them off, I'm fucking here for it. But yeah, sorry, I'm getting a little ranty because I've been drinking.
No, you're fine. You're fine. We all
Am
get
I?
there.
It's about to go for number 2. But yeah,
I was about to go grab number 2. I will be right back.
yeah, all that stuff's out there. People love to help. Just don't hesitate to go to your favorite podcaster, hopefully us or whomever, to ask for help because we're happy to help.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of people that ask me a lot of 3D printing questions, and I'm always like, first things
Oh.
first, what are you trying to do with it?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I need to print terrain. I says, okay, then you don't want to go with a resin printer. You really want to go with an FDM printer. And they're like, well, where do I find files? Well, you can find most of them free, but they're the really good ones you're going to have to pay, and it's still reasonably priced ones too.
Reasonably priced, yes. Example, I wanted certain thing, and I'm like, oh, cool, they got the file. And I told my Marshall, hey, what do I have to do to get you to print this for me? He's like, just buy me the fucking file. So I bought the file, sent it to him, said, go. Perfect. I get copies of it. He gets the file for purchase use. Works for me. But also, a lot of those things, if it's out there as a file, there's someone out there who prints it for monies.
Yeah.
Etsy's good at that. You'll notice some of those Etsy stores all have the same fucking models because someone makes them, and these guys, I want to license these models.
Yep. Licensing's a big thing right now.
One of
3D
me and
printing.
Kathy's old friends, Alan Blunt, does 3D printing. He's a great dude. He's like, I print cheap because I don't want my friends to have to pay a lot of money for this stuff. You know, he bought it for his use, and he's going to get me. It's a little way for him to get some money, and also make sure that everyone gets to use the stuff. You know, there's a bunch of stuff out there. Don't discount it. You got to go searching for it.
I know it's very enthralling to watch me paint pustules.
I mean, and we started Hodge Podge and ended up all 3D terrain. And also, like, don't discount the 2D stuff. Like I said about the 2D D&D terrain, sometimes 2D is what you need. Like, my favorite example from actual miniatures games are trenches, water features, and such like that. 2D is perfect. 2D is the perfect way to designate a trench. You can't actually, if you make it a raised edge and everything, it becomes a problem to actually be on the board. It's one of the handful of things that I think is great as 2D. Anything that would go down rather than up is great at 2D. You got a chasm you can't get over? 2D terrain's perfect. You gonna watch that for us, Gonzo?
It's got a little bit on there. I'm gonna watch it next. I'm just hitting
it
the
looks
high.
like you're going pretty hardcore on the yellowish there, and I think a wash.
How's it look on screen?
Looks a little extreme some points.
It is extreme.
It's
extreme
a wash
on the
is
screen.
exactly what you need.
Yeah, it'll get washed down. I'm just hitting the highlights with it because I got a nasty green. I'm gonna wash into it.
Yeah, so look everywhere. Like, I mean everywhere. Like, you might find another game that has a terrain perfect for your game. Like, I have some sets of the Walking Dead game terrain that I'm going to use Global Crisis Protocol. I want to make a farmhouse board. I'm going to find some nice either MDF or 3D printed farmhouses and barn and all, just that kind of terrain, and make enough for one board. And that'll be easy to transport, for someone like Artemis Voy who just needs transport ideas. Get them painted, get them sealed. They'll go in a box. They'll sit close up together. You don't have to worry about them really chipping each other. So.
Yeah, there's plenty of ways to get 3D terrain on the cheap, on the free, on the fly, depending on where you go and what you're going to do. Especially if you have a 3D printer, you're golden. You can get it all. If you know someone's got a 3D printer, even better. Because then you're paying somebody to make you some cool shit and they'll do it. Because you're most likely going to be using it with them.
Yep. And that's a good topic if you have a normal group of people you play with. Like, hey, we need terrain. How do we want to split this up? It doesn't have to all be you. Especially if you're the one given the place to play. Because sometimes, a lot of people live in apartments, all can't play in those so easily. If you're the guy given the place to play, talk about that. Like, we don't necessarily have gaming clubs as such anymore, but anytime you and your buddies just meet together, you're basically a gaming club. Talk about that stuff. Don't be afraid to. It's important. No one expects any one person to front the whole burden of terrain. Now, in my case, I've got Al Marshall, who actually has enough terrain to do way more tables than any man needs to. But we still bring terrain. I still have normal terrain in a box I bring with me. I have another couple sets to paint up when I get off my lazy ass and paint some more. Maybe I should just paint some easy peasy terrain. Maybe they'll get me back in that thing. But keep that in mind. Talk about that stuff. You can't just let it sit out there unsaid. Like, hey, we're going to play Battletech. If we want to do Alpha Strike in 3D terrain, what are we doing? Hell, when we did an old map campaign using the old Games Workshop 40K tiles, the hex tiles I made for a while, which I wish they'd go back to. This was fucking great. I literally handed sprues out to my buddies and going, hey, paint this. Hey, you paint this. We're all in it together. Why am I painting it all? I fucking forked the money out for this stuff. Y'all paint some of this stuff. We did. It was great. We'd fully painted because they painted it all. And those things were easy because you painted them all on the sprue and it didn't matter because the edges, who cares?
Yeah.
Put them together anyways. It was great. But that's the kind of thing you guys can do, Even if you're going to foot the bill for all the terrain, go, hey, can you paint something? That's not hard. Sometimes that's the hardest thing for someone. Like if Gonzo's printing all the terrain, well, shit, Gonzo, can I paint some of that for you?
Fuck yeah.
No, I'm not actually volunteering. I'm doing a metaphorical. You've got busy for all that.
I got plenty of terrain.
Yes. See, that wash, Like it's a little blurry, but that wash is definitely doing the work.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, this is the Plague Bearers contrast paint.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's doing exactly what it needs to do.
Yeah.
I dare say you probably could have gone with straight white rather than the yellow, but I think the yellow is not a bad call at all.
Yeah, I just wanted it to be a little dingier.
I don't know that it would have mattered honestly with the game.
Don't know either, but hey, didn't matter.
Missy and Erica are the dream team of terrain painting. Hells to the yeah. Um, we do that sometimes
Get
locally.
my hands
Even
on some contrast paints one of these days.
yeah, they're a good tool to have in your toolbox.
Yep.
Even if you don't use them, like Gonzo painted entire armies with contrast paints. They look solid, look perfect for tabletop. And I use them a lot of times as like when he's using them here. This is more of like
Uber wash.
an Uber wash, as we call it.
Yeah.
They got a lot of uses, but don't limit yourself to just contrast. All of them, even I've got a couple different things. Even some of the ones from Cuttlefish Colors.
Oh
Some
yeah,
of the
absolutely.
glazes for those are perfect for something like that. Some of them are a little heavy for that, but like with every paint, you just got to find what it's good at. I've been trying a bunch of those things when I can. Oh, where were we? I think I've said all I could say about 3D printing. I've been going over old ground.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't have a whole lot to say about it.
I'm going to tell you right
Well, this is a
now.
Hodge Podge. We can talk about something else for a little bit.
Well, I was going to say that for Warfare Weekend, that's all. That's what my one printer was doing pretty much nonstop for 5 months straight. Was just 3D
Yeah.
printing terrain.
And it is great for any, like if you're a big tournament organizer, like I would have loved back in the day to have a 3D printer through terrain. Like, say what I will of my ex-wife. My ex-wife would have painted the fuck out of some terrain and she would have enjoyed every second of it. Granted, it would have been way better than it needs to be because she was like that, but it is what it is. I mean, I think it's a great idea if you're running a tournament. Just it's it's another tool that helps ease the burden. You're paying a big upfront fee rather than a lot of small fees.
Yeah. And it is a daunting task when you're doing like 60 tables worth of terrain. It's a lot.
Like doing an army though. It's like don't
Yeah.
don't let it. Even if you're doing a table worth of terrain, don't let it get you. Go back to the tried and true way of painting an army. Cool, I painted a unit. Let me reward myself with a character or something special. Oh hey, I'm painting a piece of terrain. Let me go and reward myself with painting something cool afterwards. Do that. It seems like a stupid trick, but if you trick yourself, it makes it easier. It's like everything. You do the hard thing, then you get to the thing that's fun. And thank you, Abraham, for your follow.
No,
We appreciate it.
didn't know we
What
got.
brought you to our channel? Warning, I am slightly, probably shouldn't still be drinking. Cheers.
I'm gonna try this purple out real quick.
Luckily, I got leftover lunch to have for dinner after we get done. It is from the best cheap place in town.
Not purple.
We have a place in the local mall that's called the Japanese Grill, and it's just literally they just grill it up in front of you. It is fucking great. The amounts are great for the price. My favorite. That's why I'm going there too often because it requires me to walk into a mall. And that's like interacting with people. I'm not all here for that all the time.
Yeah, I feel that.
But it's near where I get my Dr. McGillicuddy, so it was an ideal double choice there. Catherine says, that's how I'm doing my trolls. She's talking to speed paints, of course. Speed paints, when I want something with a difference, I'll use them like a wash over a color. Absolutely. They're,
Yeah, speed paints are great for that.
yeah. And you can do a lot of things. And I very much 100% suggest trying stuff out. And I know it's hard. We don't all have extra models. Reaper Bones. They're super cheap. Extra models on your sprues. Like, I'm not using this guy. Just can go and get something extra to paint. Find anything. Try stuff out. Like I bought a company of Herbies because I'm John and that's the fucking thing I do. So I tried an alternate paint scheme on it. I'll finish him eventually, but like just go. He's got some details so I can try a paint with a wash or a paint with a speed paint over it to see what it looks like and decide, hey, is this something I want to do? I was deciding if I wanted to change my paint scheme. I decided not to. I think I like the regular better. And I can't find where I put them now because I fell over. But all that kind of stuff, they're all tools in your toolbox. And don't hesitate to try stuff out. You cannot, Kathy would say this, you cannot fuck up a model so much that you can't just either repaint it as long as you're watering your paints, or just you can strip it. If you have any questions, like literally Q-tips and acetone, you can fucking strip anything. Like, I'm not necessarily happy with Viper's face. I'm gonna grab Viper here. Not sure how much you can see her face. I'm not super happy with her face. I think her arms came out okay, skin toes wise. Her face, being closer, I can't know if you guys can see her or not. I'm not super happy with her face, but yeah, you can't see shit with that.
No, you can't. It's too
Thanks. I can switch cameras, but I don't feel like I'll do it another day. But if I really wanted to, I could easily just take a Q-tip and some acetone, strip her face, just her face and maybe some of the hair, and then repaint it. It's really not hard. And again, with anything like that, terrain ideas, painting tips, just reach out to the people on Twitter, on Facebook, on Blue Sky, on Instagram, wherever you are, whatever social media you're on. Reach out to somebody. I'm probably there at because I'm crazy like that.
Oh, and yeah, like I says, if you need any questions about 3D printing, whether it's models or
Facebook, find us. Message. If it's a message Gonzo can't answer, he'll go, John, this seems like it's up your alley. Nerd, it's up your alley. Help this person. And we'll help you.
Nerd, like sometimes I said, Nerd can teach you how to paint a miniature from prime to golden demon ready in 10 minutes. She's that awesome.
She's been that awesome. We'll start calling her Dave Taylor. All right, so she's got the Kirby hoodie on, which hats off. That's awesome.
Yes. And it's got King DDD on the sleeve.
Kirby was my Smash Brothers boy.
DDD is my Smash Brothers boy.
Oh, Kirby, because if you get ahead, you suck someone up and then drop off the board. It's bullshit, but hey, it's a W.
Why not?
Media section. Guys, like I said, you want terrain, you can get it. You know where to get it. If you don't know, you can ask us. So media section, just like John always says, I have like 75 things to talk about. Nerd, how many you got?
3.
John? Dos. I'm going to talk about one, and I thought it was funny that somebody, Captain Mizzy says, you always find the weirdest shit to watch, and it's actually kind of good. So I was on Netflix, and I was like, oh, a reality TV show. A South Korean reality TV show at that. And I was like, I think I'm going to try it, because I did like the one where it was...
Do you have no standards?
Oh, actually, hold on. There was one that I did watch that I really liked where these people were running away from, not getting tagged or whatever.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
You were talking about that one.
I tried Zombieverse, Artemichael, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't get into Zombieverse. But the one I did watch was The Devil's Pact. The Devil's Pact is a reality TV show where it's like 13 or so people are stuck in this house and they complete challenges. And you can make alliances and help each other out. But like the challenges are like super, super hard thinking challenges. Like find the weight of a bunch of different stuff, by, weighing other different things by only knowing the weight of this one. And, there's all this stuff. And if you do it, you get like these coins or whatever. And whoever is the lowest coin value gets sent to jail for the night. And there's all this cool secret stuff happening. Like you put the coins together and they form something inside the jail. Devil's Plan. Sorry, yes. And if you go to jail, they found out that, if you do this puzzle, you get a coin out of it. They found a secret hidden area that they're going into next Tuesday. And I really like this because it can be a cutthroat game, yes, but it's not a treat each other like shit cutthroat type game. It's like, sorry, I've got to win this or I'm kicked out type thing.
There's a difference between, I wouldn't call that cutthroat.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just playing the game. Cutthroat
Correct.
is when you fuck everyone else to get ahead of yourself.
Yeah, like the first game they played was.
That's Munchkin.
And that's why we don't play Munchkin, boys and girls.
I love Munchkin.
The first game they played was pretty much like a pandemic. You have two terrorists that are setting off, and they can kill people, but you have to share. Werewolf, if y'all remember, ever played Werewolf, or Mafia.
Werewolf, like the game that
Oh, I
you play at a
played
con,
Mafia.
not Werewolf the Apocalypse, the role-playing game.
Correct.
I was wondering.
But it was a very complicated version of it. It was actually
Well,
pretty
Brian
good.
Banyan.
Yeah. I'm really liking it. They only got 3 episodes left, and they release like 3 every Tuesday. So next week will be the last 3 episodes, and I'm looking forward to it because it's got some really cool hard puzzles that people have to figure out on how to, like, you don't know your number, but you got to figure out your number by figuring out everybody else's number because there's only 7 numbers. It's actually pretty interesting, and the people that are doing it. Some of them like get really upset when they win because they got to send someone to prison, and like they're like very upset that they had to send someone to prison. But
Having people with morals and something like that actually makes it a lot better.
yeah, and it's actually been pretty good. I've actually enjoyed it a lot. I thought it's been really neat, really interesting. I'm very into it because there's a lot of hidden stuff in it. Like, it's not just play the game, you win, blah, blah, blah. It's like, play the game, find these pieces. Uh-oh, we have a hidden puzzle that no one else knows but us 2 people. And, you know, all these coding, hidden things within the game. So, it's been pretty neat. I really like it. And it's a game show. So.
Oh, to have time to watch reality TV.
You know me, I don't sleep. So, Nerd, since you have one more than John, why don't you go next?
I might have 2 more than John. I just remembered I finished a book too.
Okay.
One of mine is like a book or a graphic novel.
I did finally finish Owl House. I was devastated at the end, and also disheartened that there's only 3 episodes in the final season.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. I didn't realize it was cut that short.
Oh, yeah.
Yikes.
And actually, they barely got away with getting that, too.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but I loved it. I will totally watch it again. I thought it was a really, really good series. I give it like half a Space Harpy.
Very solid, very interesting, very nice. Had a lot of good stories, had a lot of good people in it. I thoroughly enjoyed it, too.
Yes.
John?
So I'm going to start with the one I liked more. And that is a graphic novel of a comic put out some time ago for Buckaroo Banzai. They did a comic sequel, and it's called Return of the Screw. I do not recommend buying it. I'm not entirely sure it was worth the money. It wasn't super expensive, but it wasn't cheap. It is written by W.D. Richter, who wrote the movie, but I feel like it just shows that the movie had so many characterizations that were enhanced by the actors. Because let's be honest, Booker Banzai is a movie that is made by its fucking actors.
Yes.
Peter Weller in one of his best roles, I think. John Lithgow being fucking great. Just a great cast doing great things. And them having no idea how it gets so good, but just riding the wave there. The characterizations for half of it are very off. The artwork style was okay, but a little weird for it. And the story's also a little out there. Like it like you expect out there for Buckaroo Banzai, let's be honest, but it's a little more out there than normal. Quite honestly, I found it a little disconcerting. I bought it. I told my aunt, who is also a fan of Buckaroo Banzai, a huger fan than I am, if you believe that, that she still has the Marvel Comics series of it. But I told her I'd loan it to her, and I'm actually not going to. I think it's better if she doesn't see it. It really doesn't read it. It's not worth it. The most worth it part is at the end they have bios of all the characters, like all the Hong Kong Cavaliers and everyone. And I think that's probably the best part of it. I am going to give it 3.5 Space Harpies. It took several cities to get through and was not terribly worth the money. And that's the one I like the better of my 2 for this week. Gonzo?
So over the last like 4 weeks or so, 3 weeks or so, I've been watching a TV show at Captain Missy's. Um, and I think it was on Paramount Plus or Peacock. I can't remember which one. But I watched it on a whim. I was like, oh, this seems kind of interesting and weird and a little bit different. Why don't I do this? It's a story about a nun that takes on an thank you, Captain Mizzy, for Peacock, that takes on an artificial intelligence that pretty much helps us in our life now. And holy fuck,
Okay.
this TV show blew me away in the most weirdest way
name?
possible. The name of the show is Miss Davis. Miss Davis is the name of the AI that pretty much controls the world and has brought world peace upon us. But Miss Davis is a nun that is tasked with finding the Holy Grail and destroying it so she can destroy the AI. The writers that did this, not only were they smoking PCP, not only were they high on crack, not only were they doing shrooms, but also they did it blindfolded. Because this show goes way out there.
No, hold on. On the crazy scale, how's the rate versus Ninja Batman?
It's not as bad as Ninja Batman, but it's
Okay.
you got that feel. Nerd, I think you would like this. You would enjoy this because you're going to watch it and you're like, what the fuck?
Reminds me, Nerd, have you seen Ninja Batman?
I don't think Nerd has seen Ninja Batman, have you? No, you need to watch Ninja Batman too.
It must be experienced.
Yes.
So we need to have a watch party one of these nights.
I've seen it 3 times.
I've seen it
I've
one
seen
and
it
that's
0.
enough.
I would watch it again if it means in a watch party. But as a joke, when I had Mel John watch it, I was watching it that same day and I was a little ahead of him, and we were messaging on Facebook as he said stuff, and it was great. It was a great experience. So
Yeah.
maybe a watch party would be worth it.
You should watch it. I think it's on
Maybe we can get
HBO
more people
Max.
into yeah, HBO Max. It is on HBO Max.
Watch it, you'll
Okay.
enjoy
A
it.
copy of it.
Ninja
DVD copies.
Batman. Okay.
Yeah, watch it with
I
Captain
will probably
Mizzy.
get a what the fuck are you watching?
Yeah. But okay,
from-
so
from
this
the
show
rest of my house.
Miss
Yes.
Davis. I will tell you right now, Miss Davis, this show was tons better than I thought it was going to be. And it
Yep.
was so weird and so out
Pretty
there
good ratings.
that I've got to have it. I was like,
Okay.
this was good. And this was like, you're going to do what? With what? And you're going
It's
to...
solid ratings. It's 90% top Rotten Tomatoes. It's 4.0 on
Yeah.
Google. IMDb 7.3, which I think is probably a little more reasonable. Let me look Metacritic real quick. Metacritic's usually pretty good about this. But that's all like in the totally watchable area.
Oh, yeah. I was really surprised because I thought it was just going to be something simple or whatever. And no, it goes way out there on some stuff. And you're just like, what the fuck did they just do?
So, Miss Davis is on HBO or Ninja Batman is on HBO?
Ninja Batman is on HBO Max.
Okay.
Miss Davis is on Peacock Network.
It's Mrs. Davis.
Mrs.
Okay,
Davis.
we have.
Davis.
No, we don't. Do we have Peacock? We might. I
Get
don't.
on Peacock. I was going to get it for...
No, we have Paramount.
Yeah, I was going to get it for the Continental and then watch Twisted Metal at the same time. But Gonzo kind of stopped me from doing that.
Yeah, I've heard Continental is terrible.
Yes.
Yeah, it's sort of it's not what people wanted.
I will tell you, I thoroughly enjoyed Mrs. Davis. I thought it was a great, fun ride. Very trippy, very what the fuck type thing going on. I enjoyed it a lot. I would probably give it like 1 to maybe 1.5 space herpes.
Okay.
But it was very solid. It was a good, fun ride. I thoroughly enjoyed it. If you got Peacock, watch it. It'll be having fun.
Cool.
Nerd.
Let's see, finished Wheel of Time. Again, way better than season 1 overall. I liked the story arc a lot better, a lot more character progression.
Which is funny because Twitter would have me believe it was the worst shit that ever hit the screen.
Season 1, yes.
Okay, this is also coming from somebody who's never read the books.
I mean,
Yes.
fair. I mean,
I've never read the books, and that's one of mine that I'm going to talk about tonight too. So I'm going to talk about it with you.
respectfully, I actually ignore people who've read the books for TV shows
Yeah.
because they have unrealistic expectations. See Gonzo and fucking Ready Player One.
I will tell you right now, Season 1 of Wheel of Time felt like a B movie that was trying to be Lord of the Rings, and it was horrible. It was bad. It was
Unlike Willow, that was a B movie that was like, we're a B movie, fucking go on with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I loved Willow.
The season 2 was really, really good. It was a lot of fun. The characters did stuff. The characters felt, you can tell they upped production value. You can tell that they upped their acting chops. Everything was an upgrade. And I was very impressed and very happy with it.
I'm not going to lie. I still want to bitch slap Rand. I just don't like him.
Well, you're not supposed to.
I do. Okay, good. I feel better now.
Yeah.
I'm like, are we supposed to like him? He's a main character.
It's always tough. Like, am I supposed to like him and he's just a bitch? What's going on?
Yeah. It was done this season was a much improved version. I never read the books because I can't stand Robert Jordan's writing style because he's very, very long-winded. But I enjoyed season 2 as a good fantasy series and looking forward to season 3. And I think they've already started filming season 3 before the writer's strike. So
honestly, like Wheel of Time, despite the mediocre at best ratings, people have been watching it, and that's what gets people to make new series. Doesn't matter what it's rated, people. I'm here to tell you, people watching it, they'll make another one because that's how they're making their money.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, I enjoyed it. Special effects were better. Characters were better. I enjoyed the storyline a lot more. I give it. It's like a 1.5 space RPs, but not bad.
This season 2 made you actually give a shit about the characters.
Correct.
Whereas season 1 is just like, here, let me introduce some characters. They're people.
They're here. You're not supposed to give a shit about them, so we're just going to go away.
Yep.
So, John?
So, I watched Cocaine Bear.
I haven't had a chance. It's on my list.
Don't.
It's on my list, but I've
Don't.
heard things.
I heard it's super bad.
It is. So those people were like, it's way better than it has a right to be. Fuck, what movie did you watch? You want to talk about not caring about a single fucking character for most of the movie? That's me. This is like one of those 90s spoofing a thing movies. They just added Cocaine Bear on top of it. I think someone wrote a fucking, we're going to make fun of parks and shit and be in nature and we're going to do it, and as like a fucking comedy. And then they're like, oh wait, we need to make Cocaine Bear as a movie. Well, let's just add the two together. Fuck. This movie is not good.
No, it's not.
No actor in this movie is good. Not fucking one of them. Oh, sorry, that's not true. The guy who's a paramedic who mostly just is just a comedian who just does fucking stand-up stuff and like TikTok things, he was fine. The rest of these people I didn't care about. I didn't even care enough to hate when they were killed. The gore was not necessarily good as like a slasher film. It was just fucking stupid from start to finish. It did end a little better than it started because it followed the mother and her daughter more, which is probably the most compelling storyline of the entire movie. The drug dealer and his people trying to get the stuff back was not good. The cop going, man, fuck this movie. This should be taught in fucking movie class and how you not make a fucking movie. How a movie is somehow not just less than some of his parts, so far less than some of his parts. I actively don't want anyone to watch this movie. It is really not fucking worth your time. It's stupid. God, none of it makes much sense at all, except for the fact the bear fucking ate cocaine and went crazy. But even that's just not... It treats it like it's a fucking ninja slasher who's pulling people away, then leaves them half alive. None of it is even fucking good. Like, I've seen slasher movies. This may not be my favorite thing. My favorite slasher movie is fucking The Equalizer with Denzel Washington. It's a great slasher movie at the end. It's fucking... But this is not it. Like,
Don't think of that as a slasher movie, but you're not wrong.
yeah, at the end, it really is. The beginning, not so much. But the end, fuck. This is not good. Watch any other horror slasher, if you want gore and bloodshed, any other movie that does this. Trust me, you will thank me. It is way better than watching this shit. I would give this shit fucking 5 space rupees, but the soundtrack from Mark Mother's Ball from Devo is actually pretty good. There's a couple parts that are actually made me laugh. Not many. So I'm going to give it 4.5. And fuck this movie. Don't watch it. Imagine if I reviewed it sober.
Next up, Meth Gator.
I would watch Meth Gator. But they probably have that movie already, honestly. Something similar. If you want a slasher movie, watch
they have
Razorback.
Velociraptor.
Australian movie where
Velocipaster.
Look, I want to see the Velocipaster. We're supposed to do a watch party. I will not forgive Mouth John because we've not done a watch party for Velocipaster yet. I wish to watch that movie. This is not a movie that makes you go like, I will never watch another movie of this style again. No, but I don't like any of the characters. I feel like anyone involved with it. Alden Ehrenreich, who was fucking Han Solo in the Solo movie. Fuck, come on, you can do better. Ray Liotta, may you rest in peace, sir. I'm sorry, this is one of your last movies. Fuck. You don't deserve this. Anyways, continue.
My next one was the new season of Lupin came out on Netflix. The live action retelling type thing.
It's one of the things I miss about having Netflix. I did like that series.
I thought this was going to be the end of the series because season 3 is supposed to be the end, but they actually broke up season 3 into kind of like 2 seasons in a bit.
Season 3 and season 3.5.
Yeah, type thing. Because I was like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be the end, and they can't leave it on that cliffhanger. And I found out that they're actually doing it as a 2-parter.
Because of course they are.
I love this show because I like a good heist show and a good, I'm. You think you got me. No, you didn't, motherfucker, because I did this before you did that, and I did that, and it all makes sense. It's not like fake.
It's like Ocean's 11
yes.
type of stuff. I love the Ocean's 11 stuff because when you go back and look, you're like, well, I fucking see it there.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a very good season. It was interesting. It was plenty of thieving, Ocean's 11 style, shenanigans going on. And I like that. That's always fun. And when you see stuff that they, were like, okay, how's he going to get away with this and does this and this? I'm like, all right, cool. They did do
not realistic, just enjoyable.
Yes. They did do some flashbacks about his life as a child, which was okay. No big deal. That lets you, build, history on him. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I can't wait for the rest of the season so we can see how season 2's, how the series is going to end. But I can't wait for it. I will give this 1 space Irby.
I still need to watch the Lupin animated movie that I bought that you've
Lupin
already watched.
Lupin the Third, the First.
Yes,
yeah.
I need to watch that. I have not yet. I'm slacking. I'm sorry.
The music is so good. The animation is good. The story is good.
It sounds good. I should watch it because better than Cocaine Bear. What the fuck isn't? Answer fucking. So, in case I was wondering, I would rather watch the Turkish Star Wars again than watch fucking Cocaine Bear again.
Wait, there's a Turkish
you
Star
haven't seen
Wars?
Turkish Star Wars? Oh my god. The Turkish Star Wars is a fucking thing. The things I would not rather watch than Cocaine Bear. Cats and Atlantic Rim.
And
It's
what?
Small list.
Atlantic Rim.
Don't watch it. Please don't.
Never heard of it.
It's a mockbuster by the Asylum of Pacific Rim. It is fuck awful. I gave it five at that point, shots of Kraken, and then Mental John went and watched it on a work trip, came back and apologized and not listening to my review. Should not watch it. It was the worst movie I'd ever seen until fucking Cats came out. Now, okay, that's not fair. Manos the Hands of Fate is actually the worst movie, but you can only watch it with MST3K, basically, so it makes it a little more enjoyable.
Yeah, Manos, Hands of Fate.
Yes. So imagine Manos the Hands of Fate without MST3K. This stuff is in that category. So yeah, don't watch it, please. Anyways, you had a third one.
I finally finished A Court of Thorn and Roses book.
Uh huh.
The first one, not that spicy. Like, there's a couple of scenes, but otherwise I would not call it spicy or racy by any means. No more than, like, I don't know.
It's an adult fantasy
Titanic?
novel series. Fair enough.
I'm like, it.
The Google questions are: how inappropriate is A Court of Rose and the Thorn and Roses? Well, I'm interested to see this here. Not
Apparently
appropriate for
it
young
gets
teens.
spicier as the series goes on.
Fair
It gets
enough.
but book one, no.
Not so much, okay.
It starts off tame.
So you
but-
did A Court of Mist and Fury, is that the second one? Yeah, Court of Mist and
Yep.
Fury is the second one.
I just
Cool.
picked that up from the library, so I'll be reading that next.
Okay.
This is a series.
The library, good job.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
One of my friends just got a job there, so I'm like, hey, give me an excuse to get a library card.
We have one opening right down the street soon. It'd be great.
Nice. Nice, yeah. No, I've always been a library kid. But no, I give it like 1.5 space herpes. Like, it's not it's a good series. It's not amazing, but it's an enjoyable different twist on fantasy and how evil the Fae courts can be.
About to say, it sounded very Fae from the title, but I wanted to read the description. Yeah, it's very Fae.
Yeah,
That's
it's
cool.
super Fae. It's super Fae. It's a young girl who kills a Fae and then as punishment is taken to the Fae realm.
Wow. Book 3 and 4 and 8 won awards for either best young adult fantasy or best fantasy and science fiction. That's impressive. That's good praise.
Yeah.
It's
reminding me of some of the stuff that I read when I was in high school.
Yeah, it seems like, it's listed as young adult, even though they say it's not appropriate for young adults. Let's be honest. As young adults, we say way more racy stuff than people think.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Oh, I remember the stuff that was in the young adult section that I read when I was a kid, and it was pretty racy then, and that was the 90s.
I don't know that. I think I skipped straight from sort of kids like the Piers Anthony to the actual adult. So I don't know if I watched. Well, no, I'm sure I did. I was fucking out the library was between me and the pool, and I spent an entire summer at the pool, multiple summers. So I went to the library basically every day in the summer. So
yeah. We used to go and watch videos and stuff there and all that kind of stuff.
Useful skill I learned at the library. How to use a microfiche.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, good.
The kids don't know microfiche. Man, microfiche was some shit. It was very interesting from a scientific conceptual thing. Basically, just the thing you put in, it's very tiny, and you're reading a magnifier, basically. It's really cool.
Yeah.
John, what's your next one?
That I had two.
Okay.
Sorry, I had a shitty week.
That's all right. No, it's fine. I thought there was one more.
I wanted to. Every night I wanted to watch something. The thing I wanted to watch was it's 9 o'clock, and I'm not going to watch a 3-hour movie at 9 o'clock.
Yeah. I was, of course, dry brushing terrain to get some stuff done. So I was like, I need to put on something that is just going to be there and, good background noise and whatever, and not music. And I was flipping through Netflix, and I saw it, and I was like, ooh, I'll put on this. I know this movie. It's not going to be, distracting. And was I fucking wrong? Because I was wrong, because I didn't get the terrain completely quick enough, because I fucking watched Hellboy, the original one, and was enjoying it too fucking much.
Oh, I love Hellboy. That's
Ron Perlman is just so fucking good in this.
Yeah.
That movie's very good. I haven't actually seen the second one.
Did Guillermo del Toro have anything to do with the second one?
I think he did. Oh man, I heard the weirdest story. Do you know why Guillermo del Toro didn't do the second Pacific Rim?
No.
Because the studio didn't pay the down payment to keep the fucking actual set the building the set's in. They didn't pay to keep it up. Like, oh, you can just do it on location in some other country. And he's like, I'm doing this other thing. I'm doing Pan's Labyrinth. Fuck y'all. It's
Del
just the
Toro did
stupidest
do
thing.
too.
No, he was not. He did not direct him.
No, I'm talking about Hellboy 2.
Hellboy. Fair enough. Yeah.
Hellboy 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just haven't seen it because I don't own it. It hasn't been on cable. Wasn't really anything.
It's
on my list. It looks
too fun
interesting.
too.
That weird. They don't have all the people back, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I thoroughly enjoy Hellboy 1. It's good. It is a great opener. It is a great walk into the world. It's just solid beyond belief.
Like, the actors in it, most of the actors do a great job
Yes.
in it. Even I forget the guy who's playing like the head of their organization at the end, like they're teaming up.
John Hurt.
Oh, John Hurt originally, but then the guy who's above him later after John Hurt's killed. Spoiler, sorry,
Oh.
the movie's sold. He's an actor you'll recognize. They have like some good moments late of them like bonding and shit. You're like, this is actually a lesser director would not put this shit in a movie like this. They'd keep him as like the comic, oh, he's just an idiot thing. But instead they actually have
Jeffrey
them bond.
Tambor.
Yeah.
Oh, that's who I was thinking it was. Jeffrey Tambor. Okay.
Yeah.
It's great. That's something. Hellboy 1 is a great movie.
Yeah, because I mean, in that one, he plays, Jeffrey plays a big dick until after he starts going there, and then him and Hellboy click and had a bonding moment over the cigar, and then
but
everything
like,
happened.
The thing, it's just cool. He's not cowardly or an idiot. He's just has his viewpoint, and it's different than John Hurt's doing. In fact, John Hurt, may you rest in peace, sir. You were fucking amazing, and just about everything you did. Probably everything you did. I haven't seen everything you did, but everything I've seen you in is
picturing
fucking
an
great.
alien bursting out of his chest.
Alien. He's fucking the War Doctor from Doctor Who. He's fucking great in that. It's like every time you see him, he did a great job.
God damn, they smarts.
Yeah, they're fucking annoying. I can see that from here.
But I saw that and I started watching it, and then I was like, oh, I need to find Hellboy 2 because do whatever. I didn't find it, and I was like, okay, it's time to go to bed anyway. So, but that's one of those movies you just got to stop and watch.
Yeah.
Because it's just so good.
This is why I don't multitask over movies, Gonzo.
Yeah.
I've told the story many times of me playing Star Wars the card game at the local store, and they put on The Mummy, which I'd never seen at that point, and I just fold, spindled, and mutilated my opponent because I wanted to see the movie. Where's their Halloween Mothman's Lair? No cookies. She's not. It's just they moved in. I did, and I do feel like I need to. I did almost watch Stardust, but I have not gotten the chance.
Oh, I gotta watch it. So good.
I know. I was told multiple times it's good. I just haven't had the chance. I own it. I fucking own it on DVD. I bought it because everyone said it was good. I do that with DVDs. If someone says it's good and they find it cheap, I fucking buy it.
Yeah.
There's a movie, I can't remember if I even talked about it last week. Did I talk about Jennifer's Body?
Oh, you did not.
No.
I have heard stories about Jennifer's Body.
So I watched that for the first time. That's a trip. It is definitely in that B movie category. It's not trying to take itself too seriously.
The Megan Fox one?
Yeah, it's Megan Fox.
I've seen a clip from that. I'm sure you know which clip I've seen. Being a guy, and it randomly came across Twitter or something like, oh my.
I don't know. I was mostly paying attention because it was one of those where you could like half pay attention and still follow the plot. Plot.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I got a bunch of things I need to watch. I just need to get time.
Yeah.
Things at work should be getting better soon. I believe it in my heart. Gonna make it happen. I'm gonna watch more movies.
Got my fingers crossed for you.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do my best.
Well, guys,
All right.
that's pretty much it. That is our episode.
I need to get some time.
What'd you say,
Not so
John?
much to drink.
Oh, goodness gracious, sir.
Oh, yeah.
It's only 21% alcohol by volume.
Only.
Fine.
All right, guys. We're going to send you to the Painting Dad. It looks like he's possibly doing some Warhammer miniatures. And so we'll
He's
send y'all
actually
to
the only one I follow who's actually on right now, even.
him. So we're going to send you off to him. Guys, please, 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 please take care of yourself. Please look after others. If you can see something, say something. If you hear something, do something. And if you can do something, if you can't do something, find somebody that will, because we got to look after each other. There's too much shit out there in the world.
If you're scared or something you're not comfortable dealing with, find someone who will talk about it. Someone will back you up and take care of that. Just find that person and get them to help you.
For More Than Dice, I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
I'm Nerd.
Good night, people.
Night.
Toodles. My husband and our roommate watched it. I